Okay, so I did it. I am completely finished with Veganuary. So I went 31 days without eating any dairy, eggs, or any animal byproducts really. So it was a pretty big challenge. I don't think I would have been able to do it a couple of years ago, but I think transitioning from being vegetarian to vegan made it a lot easier. I'm Lottie DL, the founder of Banish, which is an online store and education platform that helps Australians reduce their waste. And today I'm going to give you a bit of a debrief and a rundown on how I went when I went vegan for 31 days. So as I just mentioned, I am a vegetarian 100% of the time, but for January this year I went 100% vegan. So the whole reason why Veganuary has come about is it's a challenge that is set every year that encourages people to go vegan in the name of ethics and to kind of be more mindful of what we're doing for the environment, but also how we're looking after the animals. So when I embarked on this challenge, I did all of my research, as I like to do, as you all know I like to do. And honestly, yeah, it was difficult, but it wasn't super duper hard. So there were quite a few different things and tips I'd probably give to people. But first of all, I will start with what I learned and then I'll go through the different tips. So the main things that I learned were there are not as many vegan products out there as you actually think that there are. One of the biggest things for me was realizing that a lot of breads actually include or have eggs in them and a lot of whey protein, which is a milk or an animal byproduct, so you cannot eat that. And also red wine, sadly. There aren't a whole lot of good red wines. I definitely tried my fair share of vegan red wines in the bid to try and find some more sustainable and all products that were vegan, and there weren't a lot of great red wines out there. But I'm going to keep on going and keep on trying them. So that was probably my biggest takeaway. And also when you eat out in Sydney, which is where I live, there are a lot of amazing vegan restaurants, but unfortunately there aren't a lot of good vegan options at non-vegan restaurants. So vegetarian options, there's generally quite a few and you can find a couple here or there, but when it comes to finding a vegan option at a non-vegan restaurant, it was pretty difficult. So I was lucky, I had a couple of friends who joined me on my quest this January, so we could kind of go out together and be pains together. But for the non-vegans, they either kind of had to adapt to us, or if I'd try and go to a non-vegan restaurant and find a vegan option, I was left with pretty slim options, that's for sure. Hot chips are often vegan. What else did I learn on my quest for Veganuary? There are a lot of the options that are out there that are vegan products are pretty delicious, I must admit. So I tried a lot of different protein balls, I tried a lot of ice cream. Pretty much all of the vegan ice cream options that are out there in the grocery store. I think I've eaten them, and I can say that most of them are pretty good. Vegan cheese I found really, really not that tasty, except for vegan parmesan or nutritional yeast, which is my new favorite thing. That is one of the things that, I've just fallen in love with it. I didn't think I would, but it is delicious and I am in love with it. What else? A couple of the key takeaways for me are that whilst I am going to go back to eating some dairy and being more relaxed, and definitely I miss eggs like there is no tomorrow, so I'm going to go back to eating eggs. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look back at look more down the supply chain. I think this whole thing has made me really realize that there are animal byproducts in most of the things that I eat. But what I'm going to do from now on is look at where they're coming from and how those animals are treated. So all of the eggs that I buy, I'm never going to buy, I'll never say never, but I'm rarely going to buy my eggs from a main grocery chain. I'm going to buy them from local producers, and they're going to be the happiest eggs that I can find. I think that I will go back to eating some dairy, but it will mainly be when I'm out, because when I was searching for kind of the vegan options on the menu, often the vegetarian options had kind of a sauce or a dressing that had dairy in it. So I probably will go when I'm out back to eating dairy, but when I'm at home, I'd say 98% of the time I will use vegan options. So in general, I think my biggest takeaways are my love of nutritional yeast, that there are great vegan ice cream options out there, that it wasn't actually that difficult to go vegan from being a vegetarian, but I think going from a meat eater to being a vegan would be a crazy step to take, and it would be really difficult. So I'd probably go meat eater to pescatarian, so eating fish only, to vegetarian, to then vegan. I don't think we need to kind of go the full kind of shebang in one. So I'd probably do small, simple steps, and then that's probably what I would recommend to most people. And yeah, my energy levels is a question that I got asked a lot about. I think going from a meat eater to going vegetarian, my energy levels probably increased the most. Being a vegan, I didn't see a real decrease or increase in my energy levels. They more or less stayed the same. And yeah, that's about it really. If you do have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at banish.au, or send me an email comment on this video, and then I'll get back to you all as soon as I can. So thanks so much for listening. If you have liked this video, remember to like it, give it a thumbs up, or subscribe or follow me on Instagram, and I will chat to you all soon.